What do you believe is normal? Do you believe that making 10K a month in sales and commissions is normal? Do you believe that closing a deal every 2 or 3 days is normal? Do you believe that going to the gym only 2 or 3 times a week is normal? Because your degree of normalcy will directly determine how successful you're going to be in the rest of your life. So today I'm going to take you through this training that has never been released outside of the Sales Dojo before. And at the end, there's going to be a little bit of a bonus advanced topic. So make sure that you stay until then. For those of you who don't know me, hi, my name is Christian Jack. I generated over $100 million over my past 3 years in sales. And over that time, my degree of normalcy has shifted over and over and over. At one point, I thought that doing 10 units a month was a lot. At one point, then it shifted to 30 and then 50 and then 100. And each time that my degree of normalcy has shifted, I've made exponentially more money. I've become exponentially happier. And in the meantime, I've skyrocketed my entire career. So if you'd like to learn how to do that, today we're going through exactly how to do it. So the first thing that we need to make sure is I'm going to walk you through what it feels like. So I want you to close your eyes for a second and imagine, what do you want to change in your life? Where do you want to raise your degree of normalcy? What do you want better results in inside of your life? Maybe it's the income that you make. Maybe it's the level of health and fitness that you have. Maybe it is the quality of your relationships in your life. Now, I want you to imagine for a second that you take a look at whatever it is that you want to improve in your life, and you do actually improve it 10, 20, 100x of the level that it is now. And imagine just what would happen. Imagine how different you would be. Imagine how you would show up differently on a day-to-day basis, knowing that you have actually achieved that thing. That's what we're here to do today, because I went from just making $1,200 a month as a teacher's aide to over 100K a month in sales. And it honestly didn't change a ton about how I live my life day to day, but it did change who I am completely. Now, before we get into this, we need to make sure that we understand what degree of normalcy is, right? Your degree of normalcy is basically like the threshold of what you believe is normal or average, okay? Imagine it like this. You're like a rubber band, and your degree of normalcy is this rubber band at resting state. And what happens as you stretch this rubber band, there's resistance to it, right? Because it is stretching whatever you believe is normal or average. And at this point, you have one of two options. You can either hold the stretch, you can push against the resistance, or you can allow it to go back to what was comfortable before, right? We've all met someone who, I'm not gonna say that they're just like a weak or a bad person, but they just, they just don't understand what it takes to separate from the crowd. They don't understand what it takes to become top 1%. They don't understand what it takes to be so good at what you do that everybody around you just wonders how you did it. Maybe it's just because they lack a little bit of intelligence. Maybe it's just because they lack a little bit of oomph and I don't even know how to gumption in your life. But what this is, I would rather personally, I would rather you and my students in the dojo to embody something different, okay? To be someone different, someone who knows exactly what it takes to succeed in life. Somebody who knows exactly what it takes to become top 1% if that's what they wish to do. Somebody who knows exactly what it takes to be a better father, be a better husband, be a better mother, be a better wife, be a better spouse, be a better significant other, be a better friend, be a better son. Just everything in your life, just knowing how to actually level it up. And not only that, but having the oomph, having the gumption, having the resilience to be able to push through that initial resistance of that rubber band and go and become someone better for everyone in your life, including for yourself. So I'm curious, comment below what your definition of normal is in your life and what you think it really means, what it's all about. So stop just going through life, allowing your degree of normalcy to be dictated for you by your environment and by your social circle and by the people around you, and start defining your own degree of normalcy, setting your own standards, because you know that you're already programmed by the world around you plenty, through social media, through the news, through friends, through family. And I know that you want to achieve your own goals for your life and live your own life. So now just start acting in alignment with that. Now, with me, I want to go ahead and just reward those of you who are going down and commenting right now, because you are the type of people who are actually going to be able to shift your degree of normalcy in your life. You are the type of people who are actually going to be able to go and get what you want out of life, because you're not passive like everybody else that's watching this video and not commenting. So if you are commenting below right now, that means you're somebody who is actually ready to shift your degree of normalcy. So if that's you, then I'm ready to get into this teaching. If you haven't done that, I don't believe that you're actually ready for this, so you may as well just not even watch the rest of this video. For those of you who did, I want to tell you a quick story. When I was a kid, I was really big into swimming. I even got to the point where I went to the Olympic Training Center, met a lot of really cool people, trained with them, etc. But when I was a kid, swimming is not something that comes naturally to humans, right? Humans don't grow up in the water. We don't understand how to swim. And so when you're first taught how to swim, you kind of have a couple of options. You can either continue to try and survive in the water, or you can just let yourself go and basically drown, or like let the teacher come and save you. And a lot of people go through their life, and I don't know if you remember when you learned to swim as a kid, or if you even never learned to swim, then you know exactly which one of these you were. But when you get in the water, you have one of those two choices: to either push through or to collapse. And personally, I decided to push through, and it led me on a journey of just being able to level up in many areas of my life. And I just remember that my coach, as I was really learning to get good, my coach constantly was just pushing me to do better and better and grow and grow. And honestly, I'm so proud that I had that coach in my life. And many people who are watching this video, you don't actually have a coach in your life right now. And so I want you to remember that as we get into this degree of normalcy, having a coach is basically the way that you can change the thermostat of your life. Another way, just like the rubber band analogy that I talk about the degree of normalcy, is a thermostat. So imagine you come into your room inside of your house and you have a thermostat in your room. And let's say that it's 100 degrees outside. You open your window and all of this warm air basically just rushes in to your room, starting to warm up your room. Now, whatever your thermostat is set to is what temperature your room will slowly regulate back to, right? A thermostat is just a regulation tool. And so if your room suddenly gets warmer, the thermostat will cool down your room back to the base temperature. However, if cold air comes in, it will also raise the temperature to whatever that regulated base temperature is. So your degree of normalcy is the regulated base temperature in your life. For me, when I really had my first mentor who consistently made hundreds of thousands of dollars a month in sales, my degree of normalcy completely shifted from doing 30 to 40 units a month to, this guy taught me that he was doing over 100 when he was making the most that he was making. And so for me, that was not just a 10% increase. That was not just like getting on a better offer to sell higher ticket packages. That was like, okay, you don't even have to do those things that I was being told by everybody else in the industry who hadn't actually gone and done what this guy had done. And so for me, that completely shifted my mindset. It was like, okay, not only is this level of income that I want of over 100 grand a month possible, but it's very doable. All I have to do is learn how to do 100 units, right? And so then I was like, okay, well, shoot, how do you do 100? How do you have that high of a close rate? I was already well over 80% in my close rate. I was like, I can't physically raise my close rate that much more. How are you doing this? And so then he showed me. And so if you're watching this video and you think the 30 units a month is great or 40 units a month is great, I promise you there's a lot more. And if you want to learn how, just hit the link down in the description below and I'll show you exactly how inside of the Sales Dojo. I will even let you in for 7 days for free. Just check it out, see if you like it, no risk, all upside. Now, once that actually shifted for me, then my results just completely skyrocketed. And I started making more money than I ever thought was even possible, not only on my offer, but just in sales as a whole. And so people always say that knowledge is power, but I think that they're actually completely wrong. Knowledge of what is possible and even how to go about doing it is only potential power. Because unless you implement it, unless you stretch that rubber band and you continue to keep it stretched, unless you put it to use, then it's really just potential power. There's nothing that comes from that. I know so many people who have had some of the same mentors I have, who have read a lot of the same books that I've had, and have gone through even some of the programs that I have. And they're so much further behind than I am now. And I don't say that to impress you, but I say that to impress upon you that putting this knowledge to use is something that has to start right now. So if you're going to truly implement what you've learned today, I want you to comment below, because this does two things. Number one, if you plan an action, then you can take, basically if you plan an action to take and actually implement it within the next 24 hours, studies show that you're actually 50% more likely to not only take the action, but also retain the information you learned, and thirdly, make a meaningful change in your life with it. And I know that anybody who takes action in their life, they want to make a meaningful change with it. They don't just want it to be pointless. And then the second thing that this does is it might actually just help somebody else who's watching this video right now, who's having trouble thinking of how they can implement it in their own life. So even if you don't do it for yourself, at least do it for them. So some common mistakes that I see people make when changing their degree of normalcy is, number one, not actually taking action with it, right? You can change what you believe is normal, and that will do a lot of good. However, if you don't actually plan out what actions you're going to take over the next 24, 48, 72 hours, then that change is not going to stick nearly as much. And you're just going to go back to whatever was normal before. Okay, so make sure that you actually plan out the actions. Number two mistake that people make is they don't revisit whatever it was that helped them make this shift in the first place. So if you're watching this video and this is what's causing you to maybe start questioning what's normal in your life in terms of your results and what you want, then just save this video, put the link in like a calendar reminder for yourself for 2 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now, 8 weeks from now, whenever, so that when that reminder comes up on your calendar, you watch this video again and you get re-sparked, right? There's a few videos that do this for me that I just have saved in YouTube as a playlist. And I actually just go through and I link to that playlist every 4 weeks or so that I go through and I watch one of those videos. And it has completely shaped the way that I show up on a day-to-day basis. I have more passion, more fire, more energy, because I realize that there's so much more that I can have in my life if I just consistently shift my degree of normalcy. And so whatever did that for you, just save it, set yourself a reminder, and I promise you will be in a place in 12 months that you wouldn't have ever imagined that you would be. And honestly, like sometime later tonight, as your head hits the pillow and your mind begins to drift, you'll try to remember what it was like to second guess yourself, to hesitate, to wonder if you were ready to make the change, but it'll feel distant, fuzzy, almost like it happened to someone else. But what will feel crystal clear, almost glowing in your memory, like a bright light, right, is something that's forever going to be getting even brighter the moment that something shifted. In the way that you saw yourself changed forever. You'll notice yourself more confident. You'll notice yourself shifting your degree of normalcy without even thinking about it. And do you want to know the most amazing part? You probably won't actually need to force yourself to remember any of what we've covered today, because your mind will keep bringing it back again and again and again, because even now it's becoming part of who you are. And as you begin your day tomorrow, you'll just know that you're never going back. Just to give you an idea of this, 3 people come to mind inside of the dojo who have completely shifted their degree of normalcy since they've been inside. Number 1 is Chris. Chris went from doing anywhere from 7 to 8K a month to now doing consistent 15 to 20K months in just a matter of months since he joined the dojo. Brody as well was working for 8, 10, 12 hours a day, barely even cracking 20K a month. And then this last week, he actually brought in, I want to say it was 14.8K in commissions. So he's almost 3x'd his degree of normalcy. And then Oscar is another great example where not too many months ago now, he was bringing in about 7 or 8 grand a month. And then now this last week, he had an 8.4K in commissions day. And so your degree of normalcy can shift faster than you may even believe. And that's part of shifting your degree of normalcy. And so if you realize that maybe you need some help in shifting your degree of normalcy, maybe you have a little bit of a lack of belief, maybe you wonder what that would look like for you, I cannot implore you enough. Please, 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 just give yourself a chance. Do future you a favor and go down to the link in the description, click the link, sign up for a 7-day free trial. It is literally completely free. It could not be easier. And just see what shifting happens in those first 7 days. And if you like it, then keep going. And my hope is that it's the last sales training that you'll ever need. You will shift your degree of normalcy and you will live a completely different life than you ever imagined, for the better. So if that's you, then I will see you inside.